Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Istaria. So, real quick, before we get started, we ran into an issue with our audio, and by we, I mean me, where it just sounded like absolute crap, and there was just no... I tinkered with it as much as I could, and I cleaned it up as much as I could, and it just still sounded like crap. So, instead, I decided to re-record my audio for this. So, in the first part, we did the Skull Car, which was the Dragon Tutorial Island. And now we're back into New Trismus, which is our next kind of learning, tutorial, learning the game kind of area. And, we saw Stuart Pratt in the background there, and he does have stuff for us, but we're going to skip that for now, and there's some other stuff we're going to do first, because it's going to give us things that are going to help us out quite a bit in terms of being more efficient, which is largely what this game is about. So this is our Vault Keeper, and I got confused and thought she had a quest for us, and she didn't. But nonetheless, Serena tells you, "Greetings. I already know how to use Vault window. Do you wish to access your vault? Simply click the gem icon in the corner of your screen and choose Vault from the list. I recommend you inspect your vault now, as it will prevent complications from arising in our future dealings. When you are finished inspecting the vault, we shall proceed." Excellent. Due to the current state of the world, all citizens of the Empire have been granted space with the Vault of Istaria, free of charge. To access it, simply click the gem in the corner of your screen and choose Vault from the listing. Alternatively, you may be interested to hear that Vault of Istaria is selling shares to eligible parties, which entitles the owner to additional vault space. Normally, an account at Vault of Istaria costs a one-time creation fee, with maintenance charges periodically withdrawn to pay for upkeep. However, current agreements with the Empire allows each of the gifted an account with 20,000 worth of storage space for free. When the Aegis are no longer a threat, the company intends to resume normal operating procedure. You may be interested to hear that as a temporary fundraising measure, Vault of Istaria is selling shares, ownership of which entitles you to a larger allocation of space. Once any of your crafting or adventure schools reaches the following levels, you'll be able to upgrade your vault space for a one-time fee. And that has our listing there of exactly, how much extra space and all that stuff and how much it costs. And boy, is that getting expensive eventually. But it's still something we're going to have to do eventually. She also tells us, additionally, once you have completed Vault Upgrade 10, you qualify for even more vault space using loyalty tokens. Speak to Inari and Bristugo to purchase loyalty vault upgrades 1 through 4. Now, we're not high enough level at the moment, and we can't afford any of it anyways, and we don't really need it right now either, so we're just gonna move on with our lives and talk to Jeff the pawnbroker. And Jeff tells you, "Hello, would you like to buy or sell something? Trade with me and I'll show you what I have for sale, or make me an offer and I'll add what I'm willing to pay you to the trade. If you'd like more specific instructions, perhaps I can help." I don't think we need more instructions. Okay, hail gifted. It is good to see one such as you enjoying the trade skills. They're useful, aye they are. But there is an item that is very useful to any that will be doing work out in the wild with the resources. What is it? Why, a cargo disc, my friend. A cargo disc is what you might consider to be a personal storage device. You drag it around, load it with resources, and haul it back to town or shop or wherever. With a cargo disc, there are many varieties of them. You can haul much more than you normally might. Now, there are 3 main types of cargo discs: normal, standish, and tarbash. There are other types around, you may even see them, but they tend to be based off of these 3. In addition, there are standard and deluxe models of each cargo disc type. What is the difference? Simply, the amount in bulk or stack you can haul, the speed at which you can drag it, and whether or not you can take one through a teleport gate or recall with it. Tarbash cargo discs are very useful if you need a lot of a single type of resource, and you can even take it through a teleport gate. But the downside is that they are very difficult to move and slow you down greatly. Standish cargo discs hold many stacks with less bulk than a Tarbash and also prevents you from using a teleport gate or recalling, but they are not nearly as hard to drag around. Finally, the normal cargo discs hold more stacks with less bulk than a Standish, with less impact on your speed, but it still prevents you from teleporting or recalling. I hope that clears it up a bit for you. You know, I think I have a spare around here somewhere that I can loan you if you like. Yes? Perhaps you'll do me a favor first? Excellent. Simply run these caramelized wolf ears to Elena the Gatherer. You'll find her to the west through the cedar forest at the logging camp. Alrighty, now Ragul here also has a quest for us, so once, I'm showing our inventory space, and we'll talk more about that later. Okay, I am Ragul, the only slightly less magnificent than my brother Rahul. My finesse as a proprietor is not quite as much as Rahul's due to a slight misunderstanding between myself and, let us say, an authority figure, but you did not come here to speak of that. You came to increase my supply of odd items you have collected from your adventures, yes? I am an oddities broker, just like my brother, and some others who have popped up in recent times. I buy what you may call junk that you collect on your travels. Junk and valuable dragon hoard are our specialties, and will gladly buy them off of you. Simply trade with me, and we can get started. Tizbirn, I had heard that there is a new gifted in town. I could use your assistance if you are interested. You are, he claps his hands. Very good indeed. Down to business then. You see, I am an oddities broker. It is true, I buy junk from other items others don't want, and I pay good coin for it, yes I do. So, Tizbirn, if you would go find me some junk, I would be greatly appreciative. Where would you find it? Oh, he waves his hand. Out there somewhere. On the grulettes, beetles, wolves, trents, or just about any common type of creature. Even the undead if you are brave enough. Go, bring me 5 junk items, and I will reward you handsomely. So, as he says, that stuff, we get trash stuff from him all over the place. We're gonna sell off the junk that we have already, that we picked up from Skullcar. Anything that has, in parentheses, like T1 next to it, is stuff that he will buy, and we're absolutely gonna sell to him. Now, he didn't give us too much in the way of coin there, but that's okay. We're still going to get plenty more in the future. We're still very early on in the game and all that stuff, so not too concerned about money quite yet, though we are going to need a lot of it. Now, I'm throwing that in my hoard just to get rid of it. It's kind of useless otherwise. I'd rather have the hoard than the coin right now. And then we're going to get rid of the rest of this stuff. And it's all stuff that, you know, we don't really need. And I like to have a clean inventory, personally. So, in the meantime, we're going to head over to Elena the Gatherer, who, as Jeff told us, is hanging out in the cedar forest, which you can kind of see in the background a little bit. Just a little tiny bit behind some of the opaque windows there. So, we're going to utilize our road speed bonus to get there just a little bit quicker. These are kind of to the right there, and they're going to be surrounding us here in just a second. These are all cedar trees that can be harvested for wood, bark, and sap. I'm pretty sure those are the 3 things you can get from them. Unfortunately, as Dragon, we cannot gather that material, any of that material, and we don't really need it for anything, which is the nice thing. So it's really just something that we're going to more or less be ignoring. That's definitely biped stuff. But here's Elena, and she tells us, "Hello, Tizbirn, what a fine day it is, wouldn't you agree? Except for these treants that keep coming close to me while I'm trying to cut these logs. What have you there? Caramelized wolf ears from Jeff? Oh, wonderful. I thank you, Tizbirn." Alrighty, and we're gonna head on our way back now. So, The wood in this game, you see I'm kind of clicking some of these trees here. Bipeds use it to make things like bows and staves and, you know, things of that nature, like wooden tools and weapons and things like that. It's... Again, even a little bit of construction. There's a carpentry construction school as well. Again, as dragons, we're not going to use it for anything. And, in fact, we don't even really have the ability to gather it. So, we'll be looking at trees and all that quite often, I'm sure, as we move along. But in the meantime, we're just going to turn this quest into Jeff. And he tells us, "Thank you, Tizbirn, for delivering those snacks. Elena is a dear friend, and I know her nerves get rattled with this treant so close. She's not a fighter, you know. Well, you did me a favor, so I will return it. As promised, here's a cargo disc of your very own. This one is old, so it is not quite as good as one the gifted might make nowadays, but it'll serve in a pinch. Take care, Tizbirn." Alrighty, and you can see in our inventory here, we now have our refurbished sandstone cargo disc. And all we need to do is double click it to open up that inventory screen. And there it is, and we'll go ahead and resize it and park it up somewhere. Probably right up in next to our main inventory. Get it lined up so it's nice and satisfying looking. And we'll lock it into place so we don't move it on accident. And we'll be using it not so much right now. You know, even in this part, I know we have some crafting to do, but we don't really have quite the grinding to do, so it's mostly just going to be hanging out. And Frelic, I can't believe these attacks. They burned so much of our city in the first wave. My collection of refurbished gear was nearly wiped out, but I have some individual pieces I would be willing to sell you. That's not stuff that, you know, we're a crafter. We can make our own stuff. And he tells us, Tizbirn, word around town is that you are accumulating a good bit of gear and supplies. Many of those in trades such as blacksmithing, scale crafting, outfitting, and adventuring often have great need for additional storage. Vaults from the Bank of Istaria are a good start, but you can't really take one of those with you now, can you? Many of the gifted use a gnomish contraption called a cargo disc. Oh, you've heard of them, have you? And this is where the links start to get broken a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out how to like make it work. You can even hear the sound effect of me clicking on it, but it's just not doing anything. Thankfully, there is a workaround that I will figure out in just a moment here. There we go. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I'm fresh out. Sold my last one not an hour ago to a large, scarred fellow with a nasty scowl. Saw him heading back towards the walls, I did. You could catch him if you hurry. No. Well, no matter. From time to time, my customers do not desire a cargo disc, but instead ask about having a pet. Freshly out of fluffy bunnies and screeching hawks and cute demons from the outer realms, but I do have a nice supply of wolves, beetles, and others. Are you interested? Well then, seeing as how you are earning quite a reputation, I could be persuaded to part with one for practically nothing. Don't let it be said that Frelic ignores the needs of his customers. Here, take this food and deliver it to the petting zoo outside of town. Some pets are useful for the crafting trades, while others are more for the adventuring types. Tell Erwina that you can have your pick of the lot. Best of luck, Tizbirn. Now, this is a daily quest, which, if you're unfamiliar with MMOs, I'm going to uncheck a couple of things on our map here, too. But if you're unfamiliar, it basically means it's a quest that we can repeat once a day, real-life day. We do have our clock, our in-game clock, that kind of shows us what time it is in the world of Istaria. But our real life time doesn't go anywhere near that fast. So we get some full several day cycles throughout the course of one day. That's not what daily means for this. What daily means for this is that I went the wrong way a little bit. That's okay. But what daily means for this is real life days. And I'm not exactly sure like when the reset for that is or whatever, but like basically the point is like if we go back to him tomorrow, you know, we can do this quest again and get another pet. And there is, like he mentioned, several different kinds, so we can pick and choose which ones we want. So we just have a little bit of a walk to get up to where the petting zoo is, so we can grab our free pet here. And probably next part we'll probably come back and get another one as well, because like you said, there's pets for crafters and there's pets for fighters. Erwina tells you, well, now, what brings you to my little corner of the island? Frelick sent you to acquire a new pet, did he now? Seeing as how you brought some food for them, and he does pay me good coin to manage this small zoo, I'll let you pick from the lot. Which one of them tickles your fancy, Tizbirn? So we're gonna go with the crafting one first, because that's gonna be more beneficial to us in the short term. The combat right now we're not really struggling with too much, but more inventory space for grinding crafting is always a good thing. But these combat pets do give us 50 health and 25 armor, so that's going to be really, really helpful for when we're once we, you know, really get into and start fighting things a little bit more. So we're gonna grab this tamed Loriticus, and they actually changed. So it used to be they just gave you like a physical token, and now it's got its own. You got your own little wallet, so those tokens don't take up inventory space, which I think is great. It's a pretty good change. So using the token took the price from 2 silver down to nothing. You can see there, we can buy it for just 2 silver. But if we use the token, then we don't have to actually pay. So it's a pretty, you know, basic trading, you know, inventory thing and all that. Now, we equip our pets just like any other piece of gear. And there he is, you can see him crawling around there. And he's got his own little inventory thing, because again, he's basically a cargo disc with no limitations as far as like speed or being able to travel or anything. And we can even rename him and give him our own little name. And so the name, and you can actually do this with other types of items as well. But the name we're going to give him was, basically, I was looking at I play a lot of games on Xbox, and every now and then you just see a gamer tag that just makes you laugh, and you're not really sure why or anything, but it's just so good. So we named him Squirtgar, and we're gonna unequip him and re-equip him so we can see his name. Yeah, we can see his name while we're fucking running around. Sometimes I just get tickled a little bit, in just the right way. So we're gonna head down here a little bit. This is an area that I just never been to before, and it's just a nice little, like, I don't think garden's quite the right word, but it's just a nice little area. You know, you can hang out in. I think this would be like a good place, like if you were in a guild and you wanted to have like a in-game like kind of guild meeting. I think this would be a great place for it. You know, there's plenty of room for dragons, even adult dragons and stuff, and you know, bipeds can hang out in the gazebos, maybe in the one gazebo, maybe hatchlings too. It's just a nice little area. It's nothing like super special, but I still like that it's there. But yeah, we'll move on, and I think that was around the time that we're gonna go back and talk to Pratt McGrebin, and we're gonna use our recall button, which I forgot to even use in the first part. I'm pretty sure, but our recall just brings us back to whatever shrine that we're attached to. And it doesn't matter if we're alive or dead. If we're alive, it does have a little bit of a cast time, but you can't really use it to get out of dying, like if you're in the middle of combat or whatever. But even if you're just a couple of feet away, you can still use it. And yeah, it's just, it's good to keep your recall point in a strategic place. But for now, we'll talk to the steward again. Pratt tells you, hello, yeah, okay, never mind. We're just going into the quest. So Gifted, you're ready to help us push back the Aegis, are you? Good. We need every hand or claw we can get in this situation. You see, this town used to be a safe haven, just like Skullcar. We had a few Aegis outposts to the north, but nothing we couldn't handle. That changed when one night the Aegis reared their ugly heads and attacked us while we were off our guard. The town was razed to the ground. The ashes you stand on were the homes of many. Details aside, we were crippled for a long time. No one knew what to do. We started to rebuild, but nothing felt the same. We lost so much. Rebuilding felt almost disrespectful to the fallen that breathed their last breath on this broken earth. We couldn't mourn forever, though. We have to stand and fight. We left the old town in shambles as a reminder of what the Aegis can do if you let your guard down. As you can see up the hill near the landing pad, we've rebuilt stronger and better than ever. We turned this shabby village into a town that rivals Dalimond. We brought dwarves from Augendel to help us fortify our walls as they did in the many sieges against their home city. This time, Tizbirn, we're ready for anything. Now, what did I say about letting your guard down? Yet here I am, singing praises of new Trismus. Gifted, we need your help here. We may have rebuilt, but we're still not safe. We're never safe. Go speak to Avariatus. He is the blue dragon down the path to the west. He'll know how to best use your kind skills. Oh, and before you leave, you should bind to the shrine here in town, which we've already done. And we're going to leave it here in New Trismus, because we're going to be here in New Trismus for a while. It's not the biggest island in the world, but, not by a long shot. But it's going to have everything we're going to need to, level up and kind of get a little bit more of a grasp on what's going on and what we're doing and all that stuff. So here's Variatus. Hatchling, snout up, tail straight, square your wings and flex your claws. This is a battlefield, not your mother's nest. Hear me, Tizbirn? Did you fall out of your egg on the wrong side? I said tail straight, not tucked. Better. I presume you are one of the gifted. Good. We need as many of your kind as we can on the field, hatchling or not. You have no time to be a child, soldier, not in a war that threatens our kind's existence. Pratt sent you, correct? He's right to leave dragon business to dragons, though his counsel is useful to have. I'm looking at the size of you. I'm going to assume you're old enough to claw up some of the local livestock. Run back up where you came from, then go out the east gate out of the ruined town. There should be some pigs down that path. Kill 5 and come back with at least 50 hunks of their flesh. Got that? Well, what are you waiting for? Move out. I'm not gonna do like, I was thinking when I originally recorded this, I started to just a little bit of doing like a Full Metal Jacket with him, just because of his dialogue, like kind of like the drill sergeant from that. His name I don't really remember. I'm gonna spare you from that. I'm not gonna do special voices. I'm just not interested in doing that. So we're gonna have to just live with you know, normal. I'm not even gonna call it voice acting because what I'm doing here is not voice acting. I'm reading, and probably not even very well at that. So, but in the meantime, we have some grulettes to kill. Now we need to kill 5 of them and harvest 50 hunks of flesh in total. And I wanted to be a little bit careful just in case, but it's low level. Just, you know, annihilated it. So basically, we kill the pig. We collect the meat from it. And then we move on to the next one. It's not the most complicated process in the world, that's for sure. And I'm just kind of not sure what. Oh, I guess I'm looking at my horde. Yeah, so one of the abilities that we have right now, our Silver Strike, which is our number 3 on our action bar, actually costs Horde to use. And our Horde is our armor. I think it might even have something to do with our Fire Breath. I don't actually remember. But the point is, it's too valuable to use right now. We will be using it in the future, but we need to build up our horde a bit before we get too deep into that. Probably making it into more of a big deal than it actually is. But, especially at this level, I mean, it's not like a couple of armor points are going to make a difference in any of these fights. But I'm a hoarder. Not even just related to the horde, you know, stat in general. But, you know, just in any video game, you know, if you watched the Horizon Zero Dawn Let's Play I did or anything like that, like, you'll see, like, it's really difficult for me to get rid of anything. And it's only when my inventory is completely full that, you know, where it's just like, oh, I can't, like, I have to get rid of stuff. You know what I mean? So, I'm like this in this game as well. So, I'll probably edit out a lot of our inventory management time, but until then, it shouldn't get too bad, at least for a while. Avariatus tells us, back already? Good, you're a fast recruit. I don't have time to cook this for our weak-bellied Naka friends. Go bother Carrion. She should be standing in the old town nearby Pratt. Tell her I sent you and that she needs to cook the meat or else I'll fry her ear frills. And I didn't know what he was talking about as far as ear frills, but yeah, they're right there, right? Just kind of under the horns on him. Harder to see on me, because whenever I turn the camera, my character looks in the direction that the camera's facing, so I can't really get, like, side profiles of my head that easily. But Carrion's here. Greetings, hatchling. You look like you're on a mission. What's so important? Raw Groak? Let me guess. Avariatus was too lazy to breathe a single gust of flame on it for you and sent you to me instead. Wait, there's more. He also threatens my ear frills, right? By Drolkar, he's so predictable. Let me char that for you before he fills this town with his oversized ego. There. Now the uncooked half can go to our recruits, the hatchlings you saw near Avariatus. The rest can be delivered to the trainers nearby the Naka recruits in town. Just be quick with it. Alrighty, so, really all it's gonna let us do, at first, is just bring this back to Avariatus. A lot of busy work and things like that, early on and later on as well. Avariatus tells you, "Thank you, Tizbirn. That will serve these hungry hatchlings nicely. You hear that, you yolk drinkers? Break for food. Tizbirn, when you're done delivering the charred mess to the other recruits, go speak to Pratt. I have my claws full with these hatchlings as it is." Alrighty, and now we're going to deliver him to the scout trainer. "Hello, young dragon. Do you need my assistance? You brought us food? Praise Marisat. I've been starving. What do you have? Oh, thank you. My compliments to Kyrian for how thoroughly she's cooked this. You may be on your way now." She's a cat person, and not super thrilled about, overly cooked meat, but hey. It's okay. Here's Sergeant Gaydon for the warrior trainer. "Hatchling, what brings you here?" "Oh, rations. Glorious. We need all the food we can get." "Oh, thank you, young dragon. We'll be sure to make good use of this meat." I don't know why they're not excited about pig meat. Pig is delicious. Here's Ulavan, the mage trainer. Hello. A dragon has entered my home. Does the scaled one need something from me? You brought something for me?" "Oh, rations, thank you. Our recruits need all the strength they can get. I always loved Carrion's cooking, but everyone else seems to hate it. I wonder why. Maybe we're just used to having fried our food into ash and Urachival in our attempts to make cooking machines. After all, the taste does remind me of home." And so, while we were talking to Ulavan here, these mage trainees are casting spells, and they're actually really loud. I think we're going to turn that down for the next part, our sound effects sound. I don't think it needs to be quite that loud. Here's Pratt again. "Back so soon, hatchling. Well, you're just in time. I have some errands for you to run. Don't look at me like that. A war is nothing without its supplies, and that is exactly what I have for you. Not everything you do is filled with glory. Patience." And he gave us a special coin purse, and it's just a consumable that when you use it, it gives you a random amount of, money. And that gave us 10 silver, which is pretty damn good, honestly. At this level anyways, that's quite a bit. And we did level, so we'll go through and dump our training points in, some tooth and claw and dexterity. And we gained a new ability as well. And we gained an ability called Claw Strike. So a special attack that deals 5 additional damage, deals more damage from Conqueror stance. And it gives us an extra 8 damage and 10 attack skill, which is our chance to hit. And if we're in Conqueror stance, it does 110% of normal damage. Which isn't a huge difference, but for a game like this, it actually is going to matter. Eventually. It's not going to matter too much now, but it will matter more in the future. So here's our Conqueror stance. The character deals more damage while in an offensive stance. It gives us plus 75 tooth and claw, which is crazy, and a 20% chance, attacks only, to do 110% of normal damage. So this is a very offensive, strong stance to be in. And we are going to use it eventually. Again, right now, it's not super important, but that Claw Strike actually also does, it's on top of that. That Claw Strike also has the other effect on it, which I already forgot what it is, but, 110% more damage. Or 110% of normal damage. And the same thing with Bite 1. Attacks only in Conqueror stance. Silver Strike doesn't have that. But I'm trying to get Tail Whip's description to show up here. I'm struggling with it a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. But basically, the point is, a couple of different abilities will benefit from that stance. Yeah, I'm still trying, and I'm kind of giving up on looking at that description. But Yeah, we'll use it. Okay, and so we'll just start up on the next quest here. Tizbirn, I was talking with Imperial Mender Theodore just yesterday. He was talking about needing some assistance with a wounded. I imagine he's still overwhelmed. Perhaps you could go and speak with him and see if he still needs help. I imagine anything you can do would be appreciated. And we're still kind of in the running errands kind of thing. Getting a layout for the land mass that we're on and, you know, kind of getting a feel for where everything is and all that kind of stuff. But we did finish that quest that Rogul gave us for finding junk items. The Grogs that we killed dropped enough things for us to complete that quest. Yes, those are junk items. You've got the idea. Now trade with me and sell the items and our business will be concluded. Oh, and if you happen across more junk or hoardable items, simply return with them here to me, to my brother Rahul in Bristugo, or other oddities brokers, and we'll buy them from you at a price that is much better than you would get from any trader or pawnbroker. So, we will go ahead and we can click the junk button, and it will just dump all of our junk items in the trade, and then we can just pop approve. And then we're going to get rid of our pig snouts here as well. They are used for crafting, but it's not anything that we're specifically going to need. Got a little bit stuck there. And we did hit level 4 in our crafting school, thanks to that quest as well. Not a huge deal, but every little bit helps when it comes to leveling crafting, that's for sure. Okay, hello Dragon, do you require my this is Imperial Mender Theodore. Hello Dragon, do you require my assistance? Broken bones, gash in your side? My, you're offering me some help? That's new. Pratt sent you, didn't he? Of course. That old man can't help but worry about his old friends. There's little you can do without the proper training, but there are some supplies I require. We menders usually use magic to aid ailing adventurers who are suffering from poison, but with this renewed effort, I was resigned here to set broken bones and stitch wounds. Of course, I don't have any kind of supply for this. I need you to get some new bandages from Johal the Outfitter and healing salves from Chrysal. Come back to me when you have both. So, I know where Johal the Outfitter is, and he's actually not far from the Grauks that we killed earlier. So, we'll just haul ass back out there. And, yeah, so these, we actually saw them a little bit when we were killing the Grauks, but there is some flax out here. And so cloth is another type of resource that, I'm trying to rearrange my quest window to make it fit a little bit better while I'm running. But flax and cloth in general is another resource that dragons don't really need and don't have any use for. So we're not going to be spending any significant time here in the flax plants or any other types of cloth plants either. And we can go lock that back into place. But those are the only two resources we won't need. Johal the Outfitter tells us, ahoy, another bandage run for Theodore. Of course, I'm glad to spend my spare time making some new bandages. Take these. And now, we need to just get back into town. So we should be just clicking our recall button and just teleporting right on back. It's not a super long walk, but it's still faster to recall. And Chrysal is just sitting right here in town. He's just down the road here from Theodore. And he always took me a while to find, but luckily I just happened to remember where he was this time. Chrysal sees one of the gifted. Does this one require Chrysal's help? Oh, more salves for Theodore. Of course, Chrysal prepared a large supply of salves after Theodore's last request. Chrysal's friends in Slanus sent this one a shipment of alchemical supplies yesterday, so Theodore does not have to worry. Chrysal hopes that this satisfies Tizbirn's needs. The Slick, the lizard people in this game talk like that, and boy is that going to be a thing when we get to their home city. Yeah. Alright, yes, this is exactly what I needed. Thank you, Tizbirn, and thank Pratt as well for his concern. This should help us get many soldiers back in the field to fight another day. Alrighty, now we can, time sync quest complete. Come back and talk to Pratt. A sight for sore eyes you are, Tizbirn. Welcome back. Theodore appreciated the help, right? Good, we need every soldier we can get in the field. Now I have another task for you if you don't mind. Hopefully this might get you out in the field. And we leveled up, so we're going to take a look at what we gained. We gained an ability called Refreshing Breeze. Obviously, dump training points first. But we did... I'm trying to see if it's going to let me look at Tail Whip. It won't. So Refreshing Breeze 1. The great beast stood its ground, outnumbered and wounded many times, but it still refused to flee. Suddenly, as if it senses the moment it had been waiting for, the dragon stirred and summoned the primal elements themselves, conjuring a breeze that was foul to those nearby, but was sweet to the beast itself. The breeze caressed the dragon's scales, and to our dismay, its wounds began to close. Orisdal, Battle of Bane Hill. So, it has a 1-minute recycle, and it does cost 25 Horde, but it is an amazing heal over time spell. Every 5 seconds for 45 seconds heals 18 to 22, which doesn't sound like that much, but it's a good one. It's a really good one. It is one of the many dragon abilities that's just an oh shit button, right? Of like, oh no, I'm gonna die if I don't do something about this, right? So we're gonna go ahead and make ourselves a new action bar. And, you know, it's so hard to get things exactly where you want them. It's still watching this back, it's off a little bit of where I actually want it. But nonetheless, we'll pop a Refreshing Breeze there. And, it'll just kind of chill by itself for now, but we're going to get a lot more abilities in the future. We'll be filling up these action bars for sure. Okay. You wish to learn more about the town marshals of Istaria, yes? And more to the point, the tasks they have for you. I will do that for you and give you a simple task as well. There are a few major cities spread across Istaria, but only some have acting town marshals still. You see, some of the cities have marshals who have retired or are on holiday, and thus not every city has an active town marshal at the moment. Those cities which do are Kion, Slanus, Daliman, Chaconis, New Rachival, Mahagra, Kirisant, Dralk, and Augendel. Well, and of course here, I act as town marshal for the island of New Trismus. I am, of course, also steward for the town, and so know all that happens on our little island, but that's not what you want to know right now, is it? Periodically, the town marshals will all meet in one of the cities we represent to discuss what issues are currently concerning the people in our assigned region. From there, we arrange various tasks that we ask you, one of the gifted, for help in completing. For example, at our latest meeting, it was discussed that the wild grulettes on the island here are getting more aggressive and had started encroaching on the activities here in town. So my task for you is to step just outside of town here and kill 10 of them. Should be an easy enough task for one as worthy as you are. Return to me when you have, and I'll explain further. So, all he wants us to do is go kill 10 of these, pigs that we already killed, 5 of earlier, but we're not going to gather the meat from them this time. We don't really bipeds use that meat for crafting, but dragons don't, so it's just another resource that we don't really need. At least not until we make our biped, but trust me, that's not going to be anytime soon. Now, this guy also has a quest for us. Rancher Eldon says, another gifted, huh? Well, I'm sure the adventuring life is interesting. Battle, glory, valor, Ceres females, and ill-fitting clothing. Not for me, though. I prefer the peace and rewards only the life of a rancher can provide. You cannot imagine how annoying these little Grulette creatures are, Tizbirn. I'm doing my best to try and grow food to supply the guards New Trismus. Doing my part to help with the raids, of course. But these darn Grulettes just keep getting into my stores. You would be willing to help, you say. That would be most appreciated, not only by me, but by those who are helping save New Trismus. Just clear out 10 or so of the young Grulettes that are getting close to the farm itself. There should be enough grazing for the remainder of them, and I don't want you to make them extinct or anything. Just thin the herd a little bit. So, he did give us the same quest that we already have, but it's great because when we kill one of these Grulettes now, it's going to count that one kill for both quests. So we can effectively do 2 different quests here at once. So we still have 9 more to go. And we're going to try to group up a couple of these and kill multiple at once here. As our Breath of Fire should hit multiple things. It didn't there. And our Fire Breath effect isn't showing. I'm going to see, I think I had to tinker with some settings there to get our performance running a little bit better, but I think I'm going to turn our spell effects back on. And I just turned on our Conqueror combat stance as well. And the hope here is to just, you know, hopefully kill things just a little bit faster. And our Breath of Fire is still really good. It's not going to stay that good forever. But for now, it's still... There we go. We got 2 of them that time. So our Tail Whip does stun our enemies briefly. And there we go. And as you can see in our chat log there, we're getting extra experience for fighting multiple things at once. It's not a huge difference. It's an extra 12. It's an extra 6. You know, it's not... I just saw a Squirt Guard in the corner there. But it's not like a huge, like... You know, ooh, that extra 12 experience made such a big difference or anything like that. But, you know, every little bit helps. And, yeah, these will be our last 2. We got both of them there with our tail whip, so the other one is engaged in combat with us now. And we're getting a little bit hurt here, but it's still not too bad. We're still pretty powerful compared to everything else. But we did finish up both of these quests now. And so we're going to head back to Rancher Eldon and turn this in. And he tells us, I observed you out there clearing the Grulettes. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. I wish I could do more, but here is what I have saved by way of reward for you. Go now with my thanks. And he gave us 100 XP and 100 copper, which is not a crazy, like, huge boon or anything like that. But, again, well, we were doing that anyways. We were already going to kill 12 or 10 of those pigs regardless. So, we didn't lose anything by doing it. Not even any time, really. Okay, Pratt tells us, I realized the task was quite easy for you. Don't expect them all to be so easy. No town marshal will assign you a task that is extremely difficult for you, but you will find some more challenging than others. You'll be able to repeat our tasks daily, though as you do so, you'll gain experience for that particular creature, and thus the challenge will lessen with each attempt. You won't ever find that our tasks become so trivial that we won't offer them to you, but as time goes on, you will discover that the reward that we can offer for completing a particular task is so small that you may not wish to attempt it. And speaking of reward, here is your reward for completing my task. The token I'm giving you can be exchanged with any town marshal for a wide variety of items that we've collected over the years. You won't be able to use them all right away. In addition, in some cases, you'll have to complete a different quest or have obtained a certain experience level to use the item we offer, but there should be something available to gifted of every experience level at the appropriate city's town marshal. And we're just going to open up our trade window here, and see each one of those gives us 10 coppers worth of stuff, and all of this stuff, you can see under requirements, quest research, Verdi and core chunk. That requires a quest. You know, this, I think I was looking at the same thing. It requires a different quest. That requires a different quest. So on and so forth. So none of these are things that we can use right now, or even really obtain, because we don't have enough tokens. So like some of these, like, so if it requires 250 copper, that means it takes 25 tokens. And we're not going to bother with town marshal quests here right now. In particular because he has other actual quests for us. So we did level up. And we did gain a new ability. And we got Claw Mastery 2, which we just went from an extra 2 damage to an extra 5 damage on our claws. And we also gained Ravage. Rulers of the skies, dragons of legend would descend upon villages and towns, burning all in their path. In the air, they were invincible, but even on the ground, they were formidable and could ravage their enemies with great claws. From the Dwarven Tome of Something. Now, this ability has a 1-minute recycle, but it gives us 2 extra attacks, plus an extra 10 attack skill or chance to hit, converts our damage into slash, but costs 60 horde. And again, I'm just really trying to not burn my horde on low-level stuff that isn't providing much of a challenge for us. So we'll dump our training points back in. There's really nothing else we can do there, so we're just going to start up our next quest from Pratt here. He says, what can I do? I don't know. And I ask, you seem troubled. Can I help? Are you sure? Well then, you see, today is my wife's birthday. I managed to find her a present, but I'm always on duty. Withered Aegis attacks, new gifted to guide concerns of our citizens. It never stops. Oh, greetings, gifted. I'm sorry, I was just lost in my thoughts. I haven't been able to return home for 3 days. I can only rest a few minutes in a sleeping bag here. Sadly, I won't have the time to give her my present today. It is war, and I can't leave my post. Yes, don't worry, Tizbirn. It's just a small personal issue. I won't waste your time with such a minor trouble. She is a guard of New Trismus, and she has her own duties. She was investigating some strange events south of the island. Can I help? Maybe you could bring her my present. At least she will know I haven't forgotten. That's a relief. You can find her at our house. Just follow the southeast road from the city until you find a pond. So she is his wife there. And as it's becoming nighttime here in Istaria, she's just past the pigs that we were killing earlier. And I didn't realize this when I recorded this, but my caps lock icon got recorded. It makes sense, I suppose, thinking back on it, but it is a little bit of a hike, so we're going to pop our sprint and just shorten this trip up a little bit. Especially because we're going to be making this trip a lot. We're going to have to... So she hangs out near a resource that we're going to need a lot of called sandstone. And it's just our basic tier 1, level 1 to 20 stone resource. But we need stone for a lot of things. We need stone for scales. We need stone to make spells. And it's really going to be a heavy... We're going to be using it to grind our crafting as well. And it's going to be a heavy use resource. And this is Eleanor McGrubbin. She says, "Greeting, dragons. What can I do for you?" I said, "I bring you a present from your husband." "Oh, how cute of him. He hasn't forgotten." And he would have preferred to give it himself, but with his duty and all what happens in the city, he couldn't come. She responds, "We are in the same boat, so I'm not surprised. I also have plenty to do, even if the battle against the withered Aegis..." I'm sorry, I missed it. That's okay. "I'm sure you've heard by now the troubles in New Trismus, yes. We were attacked on our wedding day, no less. Well, no one can plan for these things, of course. But now it is my duty to remain here on the island and help determine just what the cause is. My new husband sent me out here away from the fighting in hopes of me discovering the source of the troubles. Please, Gifted, there is a monster nearby, right down the cliff from here, a Grauk that has been feasting on flesh. He hunts like a predator, dragging corpses back to his territory. It's horrifying. We are calling him Red Tusks, due to the blood that has been stained onto his tusks. Oh, don't go down there. Please don't go down there. At least not yet. I need your help." Earlier today, we sent Silenthio to deal with him, and we greatly underestimated the Grauk. Silenthio barely managed to escape the bloodthirsty animal, and to make things worse, he got bitten by it. It seems he contracted some sort of disease from Red Tusks. I'm afraid he might die. Please, can you go to town and speak to Acolyte Miri? Quickly, too, there's not a moment to waste. Here, take this list of the symptoms present in the victim. We need a cure, and we need it now. So, we'll pop our recall here. Head on back quickly. And Acolyte Miri is the cleric trainer for bipeds, so we normally wouldn't have really any reason to talk to her. However, she tells us, "This is terrible. How could something like this happen under Istaria's watchful eye? Every day it's getting harder and harder to still put my faith towards my patron goddess. I've come to rely more so on the study of healing than I have on religion. However, I have never heard of anything like this before. Perhaps Red Tusks attempted to find nourishment off of the blighted land and was infected. No matter, if Istaria won't help us, then first things first. We have to find out what the source of this infection is. Will you go gather some blighted samples for me from the area north of us past the fortified gate?" Yes, we will. And here's our fortified gate. This is our first kind of glimpse at the withered Aegis attacking. So we're gonna just kind of sneak our way in. And we will have to do a little bit of killing here to gather some of these blight samples. And that required some ingenuity. But we do need 10 of these, and they're fairly well guarded here, so... Now, again, it being low level, I can't click take all because the tutorial window. And then, yeah, getting a little... Some things are getting a little bit harder to click for some reason. Hopefully, in the next part, when I've restarted the game, we won't have that issue. In the meantime, we'll make do, and we're just going to gather up all of these blighted dirt patches that we can. We need 10 of them in total, so we will need a few, and we have them in our... we're automatically storing them on our pet squirt guard. And luckily these things have a very quick respawn rate as well, so we don't have to worry too much about... We're not going to have to go on a rampage here just to get this. And we'll figure, screw it. Maybe we can sneak in and gather this, and then, oh no, they saw me. And okay, we're going to fight. And so these two in particular are dwarves. Dwarf Skeletons. And Dwarf Skeletons are kind of a pain because of their racial ability. Their racial ability makes them completely immune to damage for quite a while, honestly. I don't remember the exact duration for it, but it's a lot more than you would think. It does make dwarves very powerful if you're playing as one. However... Oh, and we actually gathered up a couple of horde items here. So what I'm going to do is control-click everything I want to add to my horde. And then I can just right-click on one of them, and it'll add everything that I've control-clicked. And it's the same, like, basic control-click as you would have in, like, your standard, like, Windows. Like, if you're using, like, the file directory in Windows. Now, that's a broken item. And it's possible to repair these broken items, and they're probably better than what you can actually craft, but they're kind of a pain in the ass to make, or to repair, I should say. And it requires finding a lot of certain different types of materials, and you have to get the formulas. I don't even remember how to get the formulas now. So we're going to hold on to that wing scale and repair it just as so we can see kind of what it is and what it's going to give us. Anyways, Acolyte Miri tells us, thank you. It will take some time to identify whether or not this corrupted ground has anything to do with Red Tusk's behavior. In the meantime, we need to have a quick solution to numb Silenthio's pain. And we are bugging her in the middle of the night. She tells us here, take this pain reliever to Mrs. McGrubbin. It should bring Silenthio's fever down a bit as well. While you are there, I'd like for you to try to grab a bone sample from a creature the Grub has killed. I need it for some tests. So you can see her saying, oh, what time is it? And then I look at the clock and the map there in the upper right-hand corner, and it was about 2 a.m. And, you know, it's times of war. As a gifted dragon, I don't need to sleep. So, there's me accidentally hitting caps lock again. But as a being that doesn't need to sleep, I feel it perfectly acceptable to just wake everyone up in the middle of the night to, you know, advance quests. As you can see, even though it is the absolute middle of the night, it's not super dark. I think we can make it darker for nighttime, but I don't want to make this video even more unwatchable than it already is. So I think this is good. I think this is a good nighttime darkness. Maybe we'll lower it a little bit in the future, just a tiny little bit or something, but I think this is going to be just fine. Eleanor tells us, oh, Gifted, do you have the antidote yet? No? Well, this pain reliever will have to do for now. Thank you for bringing it to me. I don't think I could handle another moment of seeing him suffer like this, so you need to go down there and get a bone. Yeah, there's a lot of bones left by Red Tusks, and you seem capable enough to snatch one without getting killed. He's right down the cliff, but I remember taking the path so he doesn't sneak up on you. So she can recommend whatever she wants. We're gifted. We're gonna go about our business in the way that we want to. Maybe we're stubborn. Maybe we just don't like being told what to do. I'm not going to full-on roleplay this because, it's fine. And so there is a little bit of a bug with dragons and gliding, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. First things first, we're going to grab that treasure pile. Now we'll get one of these bones. And we just need to head back into town, talk to Miri, so we're just going to recall back out of here. Take our shortcut back to town. And so the treasure we got says contained one random dragon's tier 1 horde item. Right click to use and discover it. So we'll use it. And it gave us an exquisite earring, which is about 1500 horde, which is pretty decent. There's really nothing else we can add to our horde for now, but we have a few thousand now. We're looking pretty decent when it comes to horde. Miri tells us, do you have the bone I need? Thank you, we're ready to start collecting the ingredients for the medicine. While you were gone, I found time to write them down on a piece of paper. Go collect these items and hurry back to me. So, a little annoying thing about this quest, and I know there's other quests like it as well, it wants us to gather 3 wild Grulette snouts. We already have 7, but we have to actually collect them while the quest is active in order to actually progress the quest. So, and if you want to, put like a lore reasoning into it as, oh, they need to be fresh or whatever, I'm not even really going to try to justify it in any way. Honestly, I think it's more of just, oh, this is old, archaic MMO designs. Yeah, though, if I remember right, even World of Warcraft does stuff like that a little bit every now and then. Where it's like, oh, I need you to bring me this. Well, I already have this. Then no, you need to go actually get it. And here I realize I actually killed a second Grulette without even realizing it. There's our area of effect attacks at work for us there. So, we have one of the 3 now, and I'm really just hoping that this doesn't take too long. Since we did already kill, 15 of these, and for other quests along the way. And we only need one more now. Really hoping this one is it. But, I mean, I'll tell you, it's a grindy game, man. It's going to be a lot of this. If you're not into... Obviously, it's going to be more interesting as time goes on. You can see our horde's almost up to 6,000 there. Obviously, it's going to be more interesting in the future. There's our last wild Grulette snout as well. So we're going to head up and gather our sandstone. But it will be more interesting in the future in terms of different locations and different monsters, and we're going to gain more abilities, and the combat's going to become more interesting. However, in a nutshell, this is pretty much it. This is our combat. This is our, this is what we're going to be doing primarily. So we activated our dragon quarry, and we're going to try to find some sandstone here. Now, last time I was here, or at least the first time I was here, there was sandstone exposures all over the place. And now I'm having trouble finding them. I'm not sure what causes this for this area. All the other resources have plenty of resource nodes laying around, and I can't help but wonder if I need, if I just restarted the game, maybe that would help, or maybe they're just... you know, maybe it's just somewhere that I'm not looking, or I don't know. I'm not sure if it's bugged or what's going on with it, but we found some down here in any case. And we only need to create 2 bricks, and we got that pretty much immediately. In fact, we can make even more than just the 2. So we'll activate our stoneworking here, so we can craft these, you know, handful of bricks up. Now, I will say, in the future, when we do get to the point where, okay, this is going to be like a grind, like, okay, we're going to start the grind now. We're going to level up crafting for a couple of hours. That is when, during this series, I'm going to really basically just tell stories. If you haven't figured it out yet, I like to talk. And that was a large part of why I wanted to make these in the first place, was A, I love this game and I want to share it with people, and I want other people to see what it's like, and maybe other people will like it. But also I like to talk and tell stories and stuff like that. So, and this is a good method of doing it. So the next thing we have to do is obtain or create 4 Demescent Sorbs. So I activated my essence harvesting, and essence is just these little wisps. They leave residue on the ground sometimes, but they're just these little floating magic creatures, and we can gather essence from them. And essence is used in magic-based things. And as you can see, I'm realizing here that I don't have the formula to create Demescent Sorbs, because I haven't done the tutorial quest that gives that to us. So we're going to have to take a pause in that Red Tusks quest, and we're going to have to do some crafting. Now, this isn't going to be quite the grinding part yet, because it's just, we're still learning, right? Rizel Tizbirn. What, really? You don't know that word? Hatchlings. It means hello in this common tongue. Now, as you can see, I'm very, very busy. I have at least 15 orders of scales and another 20 of claws. I don't have time to chit-chat. Unless, of course, you're here to lend a claw. Then I may consider helping you in return. There we go. Still trying to click. Greetings, hatchling. What do you need? Claws, scales, spells? Ha, I wish I had them too, young one. Look, with all the younglings like you coming to me looking for assistance in learning craft, I've had almost no time to produce the actual supplies we need. I can't take on any more apprentices, at least not until they learn to make their own gear. Unless, that is, you actually want to get your claws dirty and help me put together some gear. Good, good. It seems you'll come in more of use than the other lounging lumps around this town. All of them have it in their head that just their bare claws will win this war. Let me tell you, hatchling, you won't make it a tail's length into the true battlefields of this world with nothing but your bare claws and uncovered scales. Let's test your skills. Take this formula for beginner strength chest scales. Go out and make me 3 sandstone chest scales. You should know how to by now, unless you decided to make off down Skullcar without talking to anyone first. The sandstone on this island is at the far southern tip. Follow the path south out of this ruined heap and keep running along until you hit some spider nests and a lake. Okay, so we're going to scribe our chest scale formula here. And we'll pop that onto our action bar so we can get to it quickly. And we need 20 sandstone bricks for each one. So we're going to need 60 in total to make these 3 scales. And I'm trying to get better about not pointing the camera down while I'm walking around, and I don't know why I do it so instinctively. It's just it's an annoying habit for me in particular, because I'm so self-conscious about it. But real quick, we're coming by them anyways. We're gonna sell off all the junk items that we picked up, and we got about a silver, a little more than the silver there. Which again, it's not crazy, but it adds up. It adds up. We've already probably in total got, you know, a solid 3 or 4 silver. In total. Actually, I just realized, so that little lock icon at the top of the screen there, that's my num lock. So auto run in this game is bound to num lock. And so when I press num lock to auto run, so I don't have to keep my finger on W or the arrow key or whatever, that comes up. So basically, if you're wondering what that is, that's just me kind of getting lazy, and here I am looking at the ground again instead of ahead of me. There we go. But when you see that, it's because I'm getting lazy and I don't want to. I want to be able to just hit numlock and just kind of steer with my mouse and not have to worry. That one wasn't my fault because we started to go uphill and I wasn't paying that much attention. But yeah, that's okay. Anyways, so we need about 60 sandstone bricks, which I did the math when I originally recorded this. It's 60 times 5. So let's see, 6 times 5 is 30, right? I'm right about that, right? So 60 times 5 would be 300. So we need about 300 sandstone slabs in order to make these 3 chest scales. And this is going to be what grinding crafting looks like, where we're going to come up to a stone exposure or a metal vein or whatever, and we're going to dig at it for however long this took, a minute or so, until it runs out, and then we'll move on to the next one. You can see I have the next one selected in the background there. Now we'll go ahead and, you know, we still need to have an extra 2 left over once we're done making these scales for our other quest. So we're going to make sure we get the full 300 or so that we actually need in order to make this scale. Now, I will say, as we get higher level in our crafting school, our quarrying skill will increase. And in the bottom left in our chat log there, you can see we're gathering 1, 1, 1, 13, 1, 8, 3, 11, 1, 1, 1, right? On and on and on. We're gathering minimal amounts, generally speaking. But as we level up our crafting and as our quarrying skill increases, we'll be gathering more per dig, right? Where we'll get more consistently, you know, we'll more consistently get more than 10 per, like, kind of dig at it. And so it'll, as we level up, it'll get faster and faster. And then eventually we'll get to the point where we are going to, I'm showing you the bulk here, but just to finish my thought, we'll get to the point where we're going to move up to the next tier of resources. So tier 1 is sandstone, and tier 2 is slate, right? And then slate's a lot harder to work with, and it's going to be more slow going for that. But so there's our bricks that we need, and we're going to get rid of our leftover slabs and recall. So and we're going to head back in and we'll go make those scales real quick. And we're going to have to go. Now, we can use a biped anvil, which there is one in town, in the ruined town. And we will be using biped anvils, you know, in the future. But for now, just because we won't have dragon scale forges easily accessible where we're actually leveling our crafting skills and stuff. But for now, we have access to a dragon scale forge, and quite frankly, this shit's way cooler than a fucking anvil. So, we're gonna come in here, make these 3, and we'll show up the details here. And so it gives an extra 10 strength and 5 armor. And compared to our Skullcar Hatchling scale, which gives us 5 armor, 3 strength, and 3 power. Now, power's not bad, but it's not super useful for us specifically. We're going to be focusing primarily on melee combat, whereas and power is meant for magical combat. And we are going to make some spells, and we're going to have some spells. It's mental force and effectiveness, so magic damage primarily. But it's not going to be our main damage output. We're going to be focusing more on using our teeth, our claws, maybe probably our fire breath as well, and we're just going to be focused on doing a large amount of like physical damage. And I'm pretty sure horde breath means that it is referencing our horde adding to our fire breath damage. I'm pretty sure. Our strength obviously increases our physical force and effectiveness, increased damage with physical attacks, and it helps our crafting, our strength-based crafting stuff. Carrion tells us, welcome back, Hatchling. I see you've brought the chest scales I asked for with you. Let me take those off of you. Good, it looks like you know your way around working with sandstone. Keep one of these scales for yourself. It'll come in more useful than that tiny practice one you're still wearing. As you grow and get more experience in battle, you'll learn how to wear more scales than just the one on your chest. For now, though, that's what you're dealing with. Now, let's test your merit with something a little more complicated, shall we? And I'm going to go ahead and equip my new scale here. She's right, it is much better than what we already have. And we have our next quest here. Alright, dragon. Go out and make me 1 socketed bronze sandstone armor chest scale, 2 bronze sandstone health wing scales with dragon breath technique, and a few prime bolt spells. What are you staring at me for? Go. You don't know how to socket or technique, and you've never made a spell? What are they teaching you these days in Skullcar? Useless nonsense, I imagine. Perhaps some propaganda from those neutral factions, or I say the scared scoundrels who deny the tradition of ascending under the blessing of Lunas or Helion? Grrr. Alright, it looks like I need to take up the reins of teaching you these basics. First, I want you to gather me what I need for a socket. Let's start there. Take this technique and go gather what's listed on it. So we need... so this is armor socketing. So to create this, to add a socket to something, we need 4 bronze bars and 2 Demescent Sorbs. So, I think we're heading back to talk to McGrubbin real quick. No, I think this was just me getting confused. Yeah, that's just her normal opening dialogue. But if you look at our quest, so I was hoping she would just give me the Demescent Orb formula there, and she didn't. We do even have to go gather the copper and tin to make bronze. We have to make our bronze bars first. We're not going to talk to Pratt McGrubbin on how to get there because I already know how to get there. Now, I am, from the looks of it, if I'm remembering this right, I am going to, well, okay, I'm throwing that wing scale, that broken wing scale into my vault, first and foremost. And we'll increase our vault window size here. And then we're going to drop our Skullcar scale in there as well. And the reason we're doing that is, just, you know, nostalgia reasons, right? And we'll go ahead and describe that as well. Everything else we can keep. But, yeah, so the idea is, we'll just keep on to it, and then, like, back when we're level 100 and we're an ancient dragon and all that stuff, we can always look back on that and see, we can always look back on it and, oh, look how far we've come, or whatever. In the meantime, we know the copper and tin, resources are here, much more plentiful than the sandstone. So we might even use this to level up our crafting, at least early on. And that's more than enough that we need to make our bronze bars here. So we'll get those made real quick. Get rid of our excess copper and tin ore just because we don't need it short term. Now we can head back into New Trismus itself and talk to Carrion about getting the formula for Demescent Sorbs. Which is really great because, I mean, it is a basic resource that we need. Bydrolkar, what is it now? Wait, let me guess. You don't know how to find or create Demescent Sorbs. I'm right. We need to throw Geminoth back into the realm of fire at this rate. Hatchling, Dim Essence Orbs are crafted from Dim Essence itself. You harvest this essence from Dim Wisps. They are creatures of magic, roaming the countryside aimlessly. On New Trismus, these wisps congregate at the base of the waterfall. Do you remember where you gathered sandstone earlier? Go back there and follow the lake out to the waterfall. Glide off the cliff and you should see them and an essence channeler nearby. Go and gather the essence from the wisps, then condense into orbs using this formula. No, you will not hurt the wisps. They screech at being touched, but don't be alarmed. The noise is normal. You'll get used to it. As long as you don't hit them with your claws too hard, they just float off and create more essence over time. Actually, be careful not to kill them. If you gather from their corpses, you'll get tainted essence, which is useless to us. Now go and make some orbs. Oh, okay, so now we have the formula. So we're going to scribe it once I can get it to click right. I'm definitely going to fix that when I go record the next part. And we can even put our Dim Essence Orb. Yeah, link it down onto our hotbar for easy access. We are going to need, there's my auto run again. We are going to need, honestly, we're not going to use too much of it, at least compared to some of the other resources, but it's still a vital component in a lot of the things that we're going to be making long term, including spells. So, thanks to now we need to make now that we're doing this other quest, we don't need 4 Dim Essence Orbs, we now need 6 in total. So we're going to gather a little bit more. And we only need 5 more in total, honestly, but nonetheless, we still need to get that so we can complete both of these quests. And we'll gather up from this wisp so we can hear that screech that Carrion was telling us about. Yeah, there it is. They're fine. They like it. It's, for the wisps themselves, it is pleasurable beyond belief. Each one of, every time you hear that noise is basically, yeah. I'm gonna stop before I take it too far. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm dumb. Yeah. Anyways, Carrion tells us you have the materials, I see. Good. Now, I need you to use these resources to make a socket on a bronze dexterity chest scale. I chose something that hopefully sounds less confusing to simpletons. You see, not all scales will be made with one material. For example, those focused on health and armor require both a stone and a metal to function properly for us. Dexterity is not one of those and should be easier for you to work with. To add a technique to a scale, be it a socket like this or a more specialized technique, you must apply the materials when you are creating the scale, not after. Some special techniques can be applied after the scale is made, but those are usually not very common. Go on now. Alrighty, and she gave us the formula for the bronze dexterity chest scale. Beginner dexterity chest scale. So we can go ahead and throw that on our thing there, and we do not have, so as you can see, when we add the armor socketing technique to the scale, now we don't have enough skill to actually make it, because when you add a technique, when you're crafting something, it increases the amount of skill that's required in order to make the item, because, you know, a basic item, you know, is fun. And then when you add that extra level of complexity to it, it takes more skill. And currently that's skill that we don't have. So we could actually make one of these skills just to use without the technique on it. But in order to do this quest, we're still going to have to level up our crafting before we can actually do that. So for now, instead of that, we're going to go back to the quest, Kill Red Tusks. And I think I just got a little bit lost. So this area in New Trismus actually changed quite a bit over this game's lifetime, and I'm still not used to the current iteration of it and where things are exactly. And dragons don't use water for a whole lot. I believe it's using tanning or something for bipeds, but dragons really don't use it. So it took me a second to find the well. But we only need 12 units of water, and we have that now. So we have all the ingredients now for Miri. So we're going to pop back over to her. I'm looking for her. She was actually on the screen for a moment there, and I just missed her. I was thinking in the moment, well, it's in the afternoon now. She should be hanging out. No, she's eating lunch. That's fair. Mary tells us, alright, this appears to be everything. Thank you, adventurer. I'm sure Silenthio will thank you too. If this works, that is, which I'm not sure it will. The bone you brought back had strange properties to it. I did what I could. Before this can be converted into a spell, it needs to be tested. Please take this sample vial to Silenthio and return to me with the results. Alrighty, so now we're going to head back on to where Silenthio is hurt, up near Pratt's wife there. I believe her name was Eleanor. Some of these names are going to get difficult for me to pronounce, and you might make fun of me. I'm just deleting this water because I know I'm not going to need it for anything else. But yeah, feel free to make fun of me for not being able to pronounce things or being able to talk in general. That's fine. But in my defense, it's not, a lot of these names aren't exactly common, and I really didn't do myself any favors by naming my character something that's also difficult to pronounce. It's also kind of a dumb name, but yeah. I don't care, really. I'm fine with that. Now there's sandstone all over the place when we don't really need it. But that's good. Yeah, it's all over the place now. That's really good, though, because we're going to need sandstone in large quantities, at least a little bit. Hey, this is Silenthio. Oh, who are you? Can you help me? My head hurts, and I feel like there's this darkness all around me. What's this? You have a cure? Ah, it tastes terrible, and I don't feel any better. Are you sure it's working? Oh, I am starting to feel better. Thank you so much, Gifted. Praise the gods. Praise Marisat. Alrighty, now we're gonna head back to Acolyte Miri. Now, I like that he took the medicine and was like, I'm not immediately better within the first 5 seconds. This is bullshit. And then, 15 seconds after that, he's like, oh, this is great. Thank you so much. Alright, Acolyte Miri tells us wonderful news. Now that we know it works, please go to Ulavan the Mage and have the cure converted into a spell. He's nearby, just in another building. We already know where Ulavan is, thanks to the other quest we did when we first got here. He's the one that liked the meat that we gave him. And Ulavan tells us, I'm glad to hear Silenthio is okay. Poor lad just came in from Kion recently. Seemed so driven to help our little island, it was rather admirable. Now let me see that vial with the cure. I have some spare spell shards here with a bit of magic. Add the cure. There you go. This spell will protect you from Red Tusk's terrible curse. Time to put him out of his misery, I'd say. And he did give us that spell there. It's Minor Cure Blight Poison. And all it does, it just minor blight poison immunity. And I believe it's only useful for this quest. I could be wrong about that. We'll find out in the future. I'm sure we'll test it and whatnot. But for now, we're going to throw it on our action bar. And right up in there with a refreshing breeze. And sometime, eventually, we will be fighting the Withered Aegis and the various undead again. And we'll be able to use... again, we'll test it out. There isn't a whole lot of documentation on this game due to it not being very popular. Especially since this island area has been reworked multiple times. So... we'll do a little bit of tests. We'll do a little bit of tests, and we'll do some documentation of our own. Why not, right? And let's see here. We know more or less where he is. He's just down the cliff here. I believe, if I recall correctly, I did kind of lose track. I kind of lost the plot of what exactly I was doing. I probably... you know, as I said, I like to talk, and I probably just was talking about something and just forgot. Now, this is a little bit of a glitch where certain types of terrain you can glide on, even though you shouldn't be able to. And I'll show you some better examples of it in the future. But in the meantime, we landed right in Red Tusk's face, and we're gonna go ape shit on him. Now, he is the same level as us, but he's a special monster. He has his own special name. And thankfully, as a dragon, I'm just fucking him up. And I don't have any... I'm not even using any of my horde cost abilities or anything like that. I just blew him up pretty much immediately. Again, being a low-level area... not the most impressive thing in the world, and in fact, you know, once we do get to higher level stuff and you know, all that, that's not going to continue to happen. It's pretty standard fare for MMOs, where you can just, you know, the first 5 or 10 levels, it depends on what the level cap is, but, you know, the first 5 or 10 levels is, you know, it's not difficult. Just like any video game, really. Now, there are some, like, kind of inclines that you can climb up that you would think that you can't. That really look like you shouldn't be able to. But it's similar to riding a horse in Skyrim. You can actually get up cliff faces. No, not cliff faces, but it's steeper inclines than you would otherwise expect. I kind of gave up on that there. I didn't want to spend too much time dicking around with that. But you know, it's fine. We'll have plenty of time to mess with it later. Eleanor tells us, "Oh, Gifted, you saved Silentio and you killed that terrible beast. I simply cannot thank you enough. Here, take these silver coins and an honorary title as rewards. You've certainly earned them, and I wish I could do more to thank you." So we leveled up, first and foremost, so, you know, more training points. And we also gained... well, a title A and a new ability. Me being unable to find it to the bottom there. Gale Wind. Send piercing winds into an enemy at high velocity. It's got a 45-second recycle, a 25 horde cost, and it is an area of effect ability. And it does pierce damage. And if we were in focused stance, it would do 110% of normal damage. However, we're not going to use... so we're not going to be really using much in the way of... like damaging spells and things like that. So we're probably not going to be using focused. stance. And in fact, I can't even find it right now. I can't remember if I even did find it. I didn't. So I think it's just a stance that we don't even have yet. Now, in theory, it should give us more stances in the future. And at this point, I'm still just like, man, like, I feel like I should have it. I just don't. Because I feel like I have all of them, and it's just like, nah. Nah, you don't. And okay, I guess I'll give up. Yeah, so that's, I think that's where we're going to end part 2 here. I think that's a good spot for it. We did get a title. I haven't equipped it yet. Maybe we'll equip it in the next part. We'll see. We'll go hang out. We'll log out. Yeah, near this pond. I mean, the spiders aren't super good looking or anything, but the pond's nice. So we'll just have a nice little sit down. And once again, as always, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.